Ranging from drug busts that would have yielded more profits than some major high street brands combined to jungle drug manufacturing complexes with 8 airstrips and living quarters, we count down the list of the 5 biggest ever drug busts.
Number 5.
Australia, 2008, a drug smuggling syndicate attempted to smuggle 4.4 tons of ecstasy into Australia, worth an estimated $122 million. See, drug smugglers can get very creative and attempt to smuggle drugs into other countries, sometimes digging tunnels, hiding the drugs in bodies, or in this case, tomato tins. Australian police were pretty smart on this case and swapped the tomato tins stuffed with ecstasy for a placebo, and then proceeded to track the shipment to a house. Police then swooped and a total of 17 people were arrested as a result of the investigation.
Number 4.
2007, the US Coast Guard was on a normal patrol when they spotted a ship named the Gatun and decided to pursue it as it looked suspicious. Well, I say it looked suspicious, it was obviously a drug smuggling ship. How did the US Coast Guard know it was a drug smuggling ship with no tip-offs and just by looking at it? Well, most drug smugglers make an effort to hide their drugs, sometimes spending vast amounts of money building very creative hiding places. Not this ship though. The drugs on the Gatun were stacked in plain sight on the top deck, literally bales of cocaine piled up. Yep, they hid $600 million worth of cocaine in plain sight. This was the biggest maritime drug bust in US history.
Number 3.
1984, in the Colombian jungle, Pablo Escobar's drug manufacturing complex was discovered and raided by Colombian authorities. The cartel boss lost an estimated $1 billion when 14 tons of cocaine were seized. The complex, which was dubbed Tranquilandia, boasted 19 separate laboratories, an independent water source and an electrical system, and actually had living quarters for all his workers to sleep. It also featured 8 private airstrips for transportation. It was discovered when the DEA put tracking devices on a large shipment of a cocaine processing chemical called ether, which was ordered by one of Mr. Escobar's known associates.
Number 2.
In California in the summer of 1991, authorities seized almost $3 billion worth of heroin. Apparently this extremely large amount represented 5% of the world's total yearly production of the drug. The shipment originally started in Thailand and travelled to Taiwan, then to a warehouse in California. This was all part of an operation by the DEA and the US Customs, which included a month-long stakeout of a warehouse which posed as a porcelain importing company. 3 men were caught and later convicted.
Number 1.
In 1989, one of the biggest drug busts in history took place, which also happened in California. It included 20 tons of cocaine, which came out to a street value of around $7 billion. All this belonged to Mexican drug trafficker Rafael Munoz Talavera. 6 men were eventually arrested, but Rafael was not amongst them. The warehouse used to store these drugs was protected by a $6 padlock. This 20 tons was nothing compared to the additional 77 tons that had gone through the warehouse in previous months, and just a tiny fraction of the 200 tons of cocaine he moved between 1988 and 1989. Rafael's life was cut short when he was assassinated by a rival drug gang. His body was found tied with gunshot wounds, slumped in a jeep near the border of Texas. And that brings my list of the 5 biggest drug busts to an end. Make sure to hit that like button, comment, or even subscribe to see more list and fact videos. Thank you for watching.